In this video, we are going to see how you can connect either your GitHub or GitLab source code accounts to Planton Cloud. Currently, Planton Cloud supports both GitHub and GitLab, and I'll talk more about that when we get into the action. And one thing to remember is that you can connect as many code servers as you wish or as you have access to on GitHub or GitLab to your product on Planton Cloud. Remember that code servers are connected for each product. There have been use cases where having the ability to work with multiple source code hosting systems, especially in case of migration, proved really handy. So Planton Cloud has been designed to support those types of advanced scenarios as well. Now let's proceed and see how I'm going to connect a GitHub organization that I've created to manage the source code repositories for the cookie store product that we are building here. Planton Cloud console, and the current context that I've selected is cookie store LLC. In order to be able to connect, first thing that you have to do is switch to a product context. Either you switch it from this bar, context bar, or when you click on code servers, Planton Cloud will automatically detect that you are currently in the company context and you have to switch to a product context in order to be able to work with or connect code servers. So I switched the context to the web shop product, which belongs to cookie company, and I can click on connect. And Planton Cloud supports both GitHub and GitLab, so you can choose either of these two. But because I'm currently using GitHub account for my cookie store product, I'm going to GitHub. This is a human readable identifier. It's like a label to quickly identify a particular code server. You can simply name the code server as the code server provider, or you can change it to something more specific that you would like to remember. So the code server ID is essentially CS, which is a prefix for the identifiers created for source code server. So whenever you look at an ID that starts with CS, you're looking at a code server connection. And the next section of the code server ID is essentially the ID of the product. So right now we are looking at web shop, for which the product ID is cookie shop, followed by the name of the code server. So if you change the name, you will see that the ID is getting updated. You can leave the organization field empty. This is not really needed in case of GitHub. Now we'll move on to click on connect using OAuth, and you will be prompted to choose. So you are now on github.com. Because I have already logged into my GitHub account, GitHub is not prompting me to log in once again, but here are the list of organizations that my user account has access to install apps. So I'm going to choose PC Cookie Store, which is an organization that I've created to manage all the source code repositories for building out this new product. So I click on the organization, and you will be prompted to accept the permissions requested by Planton Cloud app. So you click on install and authorize. You'll be redirected to Planton Cloud, and as soon as the code server is added, a synchronization process kicks in, and the synchronization is essentially all the existing code repositories on your GitHub account will be imported into Planton Cloud. Because this particular organization doesn't have any repositories at the moment, there is none. But you can always test creating new code repositories. It can be a private repository. It doesn't have to be a public repository in order to import. We have created a new repository. Now we would like to import the newly created source code project on GitHub. If you go navigate to code projects, you will notice that you don't really have any code projects for this particular product. By clicking on import, the code projects that exist for this particular organization will be synchronized into Planton Cloud under this product. When code projects are synchronized, the identifier for the code project is constructed by all code projects are prefixed with CP prefix followed by the ID of the product, again cookie-shop, followed by the normalized URL of the project. You can click on the actions icon, and clicking on view Git repository should take you to the repository on GitHub. You can always re-import if there is any upstream changes on GitHub. You can click on re-import and you will be able to see the changes reflect here. Now, as opposed to creating a project from Planton Cloud, it is also possible to create projects right from the Planton Cloud console. This will be demonstrated in another video.